Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode, and today I'm out here with yet again another unique species of orchid. So this one is called Scaphozepalum breve yellow, and the flowers on it are about the size of peas. So again, another really unique species of orchid, and I am so grateful to have this one in my collection. So I actually got this one from Jardin Tropical, not a paid sponsor. Check him out on his website, samename.com. He's got a plethora of amazing orchid species. So a really cool thing about this orchid is how small the flowers are. I touched on that they were about the size of a pea, and here is one now. So this flower is really cool. I'll show you a picture of it when it's in full bloom. It should come up on the screen about now. This orchid here is a very easy orchid to take care of. So you might be thinking that, why am I just doing a whole bunch of orchids that have similar care requirements? Why can't I just lump them into one specific thing? Because after a certain time in the season, they all have different requirements. This plant has a whole bunch of leaves on it here. See the way those leaves are shaped? Now, I don't know too much about this orchid just yet, so I'm not gonna give you a specific thing about the whole back history of this orchid right at this moment. I might do that in the next video, actually. Maybe I'll do a part 2. Stay tuned for that. So the care requirements for this are the same for Phalaenopsis so far, at least in the summer. So I just water this one once a week. I give it bright indirect sunlight, again on a shelf on the back patio here, and it seems to love that habitat just fine. You might notice that some of the leaves here are burned on the tips. That's a little bit of sunburn. What actually happened is, before I got it, I guess somebody, or he might have had it out in a little bit too bright of light, and that's how it got that. But if it doesn't spread down to the bottom portions of the leaves and like really make them crispy, it's totally fine. And honestly, it's got so many new leaves on here that are coming up through the middle that I'm honestly not going to worry about that. So yeah, another super easy orchid to take care of. So, and again, another short episode, but I tell you what, this is another really cool species. So go check out jardintropical.com and look at the amazing orchids that he has on his website. This species here is again Scaphozepalum breve yellow, and it would be really cool actually to get another variation of this plant. I've seen a couple of others that are even cooler than this, and I'd love to get my hands on them in the future because it is just a unique species of orchid. I can only imagine that out in the wild that these orchids get pollinated by really small insects, like really tiny bees. They've got really small bees. I think actually this comes from a place in South America. So, another interesting thing too is that the flower spikes. So if you notice here, there's a flower spike, and obviously this one here, but they only produce one flower per spike. So it's not going to be your typical Phalaenopsis orchid that you're going to have multiple flowers on one spike. This one is a very kind of sparsely spiked and flowering orchid. So yeah, so I'd like to just take a minute to take in the beauty and admire the leaves for a second here. Let me zoom in a little bit more. So there we go. I also have it planted in sphagnum moss. Sphagnum moss is the recommended orchid medium for orchids because most of them are actually epiphytes. So if you didn't know, epiphytic means that they don't need a substrate like soil or dirt or any kind of finely packed like granite or stuff that grows in a substrate like that. They can grow on just branches and bark and moss that you'd find out in the wild. So it's a really cool way to have these plants is just in sphagnum moss because they are epiphytic. Now there's other different kinds of orchids that are terrestrials, is what you would call a orchid that lives in substrate, like a soil or very fine or even sand. So there's a few different types of orchids, and I want to touch on this more in a different video because it is a really cool topic in itself. So there's lithophytic, terrestrials, epiphytic, and there's another one, but I need to do more research on that. So stay tuned. And I think that's going to be it for this one, folks. So let me know what you thought of this video down in the comments below, and I will see you next time.